So let's begin by settling the body, adopting a stable, comfortable, upright position serviceable for meditation. So we're thinking about keeping our feet flat and our back straight, torso open. Hands in the lap, right over left, with the palms upturned and the thumbs gently touching. Our eyes are gently closed or slightly open, making sure we let in enough light to remain alert. And try to maintain an awareness of not slouching, not leaning, but we also let go of any unnecessary tension or rigidity in the body, relaxing into a stable, comfortable, upright position, just allowing the body to fall into place. And we begin to move the mind inward, away from the external world, allowing sights and sounds to be as they are without investigation, constraining our awareness just to the body and mind. Beginning to concentrate that awareness in the present by attending closely to the physical sensation of the air as it moves into and back out of the tip of the nostrils. Giving ourselves the instruction to notice quickly when anything other than that one physical sensation is arising in the mind. And then without judgment or frustration to lift our awareness up from those distractions and to place it gently but firmly again and again on the breath. And then when the mind feels more calm, generate a broad altruistic motivation for our time. So begin to see oneself as the recipient of this vast interconnected web of kindness, that is flowing from all other sentient beings toward oneself. All of the kindnesses that have supported this life and created the causes and conditions for oneself to be healthy, to continue to have what's needed, to be protected from the elements and so forth. Recognizing that everything that we know, everything that we can do, and even our good qualities, our patience, our compassion, our loving kindness, our generosity, our ethics, all depend upon sentient beings. So try to feel a sense of gratitude. And then think that for oneself, due to that kindness, all of the causes and conditions for a perfect human rebirth have come together. And so now is the time to repay that kindness, having everything that one needs to develop one's mind. I must engage in these trainings, develop my mind, tap into my potential, and work for the benefit of sentient beings who have been, who are being, who will be kind, limitlessly kind to me. And so on that basis, we'll engage in this process of inner transformation, of becoming someone capable of being of benefit to others. So with that motivation, today we will finish the contemplations in the 8 verses. We begin that with verse 7. Verse 7 reads, "In short, I will offer directly and indirectly every benefit and happiness to all beings, my mothers. I will practice in secret, taking upon myself all their harmful actions and sufferings. In short, I will offer directly and indirectly every benefit and happiness to all beings, my mothers. I will practice in secret, taking upon myself all their harmful actions and sufferings." So the training of Tonglen is introduced in this verse, this vehicle for turning toward the suffering of others, developing the genuine wish to relieve it, and to provide sentient beings with all temporary and ultimate forms of happiness. So with this technique, you can visualize a group of people in front of you And imagine that this group of people is experiencing some suffering. Perhaps the suffering of sickness or oppression, hunger, deprivation. And recollect that these are kind mother sentient beings. They have been one's own mother again and again over beginningless past lives, and are presently experiencing this suffering. Just try to imagine that vividly as if you were observing it yourself. And then reflect on oneself in meditation, visualizing at your heart a small dark seed, like a mustard seed, a sesame seed. And then apprehending again this suffering in front. Try to tap into a genuine wish, desire for these kind mother sentient beings to be free of that suffering. Begin to imagine that suffering taking on the aspect of a smoke or pollution surrounding them. And then imagine that due to the force of your own compassionate wish, you begin to magnetize that pollution, that smoke, and it begins to funnel toward oneself. And allow yourself to feel the discomfort of observing that, moving closer and closer while not losing sight of your compassionate wish. The brave attitude of a bodhisattva. And observe that the funnel of black smoke, pollution, penetrates through one's heart center, absorbing into the dark seed. And this dark seed becomes more and more dense. And imagine that it implodes and is replaced by a much larger orb of golden white light at the heart. At the moment that all of the suffering is drawn off. And then observing these sentient beings in front, now free of that suffering, wish for them to be genuinely, truly, completely happy, fully content, fully at peace. Having all forms of temporary as well as ultimate sources of bliss, liberation, contentment. And imagine sending out rays of this light from the orb at your heart center that establishes them in happiness. Imagining vividly all of these forms of temporary and ultimate happiness that they are receiving, experiencing. We'll consider the 8th verse. May all these practices be undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by perceiving all phenomena as illusory, may I be released from the bondage of attachment. May all these practices be undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by perceiving all phenomena as illusory, may I be released from the bondage of attachment. So when we think about our spiritual practice, we are asked to consider how purely are we engaging in that practice. What is our motivation? If we engage in our spiritual practice in order to gain material wealth, to gain higher status in our community, our circle, to be able to have pleasant experiences, to receive praise, or out of fear of losing our wealth, our status, our reputation. Then our practice is stained by the worldly concerns. Our motivation is not pure. So think in your own life, have there been times when you talked about your practice or engaged in your practice in the hopes of being recognized, being praised, of receiving something of benefit from others? And try to be determined when such thoughts arise to replace them simply with the wish to develop your own mind, to be of benefit to others, not to receive from others. And then the second half of the verse talks about the Buddha's teaching on selflessness or emptiness, the most difficult, most profound topic in Buddhism. The understanding that we are not passively noticing what's true about all of the things that we cognize, that we are participating actively in creating everything that we cognize. Things don't exist completely separate from oneself, out in the world, waiting for us to notice them. And when we notice, when we observe, we actively establish what we observe in the mind. That we tend to observe things in a way that doesn't actually accord with their existence. That active process of cognition imbues that which is cognized with what seems like an essence, a status that is separate from oneself. And the Buddha disagrees with the validity of that way of observing, cognizing. This projection that we add to what we cognize, that gives it that status, that sense of separateness. When we cognize in that way, we are, as it says, bound by attachment, thinking that we must possess what is pleasant, that we must be separated from what is unpleasant, because we think wrongly that pleasant and unpleasant is there in the object, separate from me. So bring to mind whatever it is you do understand, that you have learned on this topic, and be determined to analyze, to see things through that lens of wisdom, to not get caught up in the world of appearance. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. And we'll dedicate. So recollect your altruistic motivation and think that by having engaged in this contemplation, you've actualized that motivation, which has generated positive energy in your mind, and think that you freely offer the fruit of your practice, that positive energy, for the benefit of all sentient beings, without exception. Thinking strongly, when this positive energy ripens, may it serve as a cause and condition to eliminate war and conflict, poverty, famine, disease, disasters, all painful inner and outer conditions. May it fully ripen the minds of all sentient beings. May they quickly meet perfect teachers and arise in the state of full enlightenment. May I too achieve the state of enlightenment so that I might work for the benefit of sentient beings perfectly. May any obstacles facing the Guru's long life be completely dispelled. May I and all sentient beings in this moment come under the joyful care and guidance of enlightened beings. May we be guided and protected until we swiftly achieve that state of enlightenment. Thank you.